Good morning. By the way, if you're wondering what is this weird language right here, it is Estonian. That means, of course, that we are in Estonia, in the Soomaa National Park, next to Parnu, which we're gonna visit afterwards. And we're gonna do the famous Riisa trail that we read online is apparently one of the most famous ones here, because of the reason that there are shallow waters and you could see some beavers, because apparently it is one of the biggest beaver population here, or was it one of the best places to sight beavers in the northern part of Europe. Before we head out, we're gonna have some breakfast from the food that we didn't eat yesterday evening next to the sea, because as usually we kind of do overdose with buying food for these nice evenings. So just in case you're wondering what do we have to eat for breakfast, it's quite simple. As you can see, we have some pickles, some bean salad with champignons, dark bread that I value more than gold, a piece of chicken for me, and I think that's quite it. There is some cake left over from Sabine's birthday yesterday, and the boys will have these two sausages for those two hungry little mouths. So that was rather cool, small side trail, right?
Yes.
And especially like those boats. Never seen them unchained like that.
Just go pick it up and just go. There's a boat in the river.
Yeah, well, don't do that. The people might get upset. But I was surprised to see some boats standing there unchained. Perhaps it's Estonia or the whole miracle of living in the Baltics. The mist has been lifted and now we can see almost purely blue sky. And the moment when we stopped here and stepped in the forest, the fog was so thick you couldn't almost see further than 10-20 meters. Wow, we have found the first bog right here. This place would probably drown you. It looks like nothing. There's like even a warning sign. Do not swim here. But I am wondering how deep it is. And the thing with these bogs is that while the water seems clear, it is very acidy. So most of the times you would not see any wildlife living there. Perhaps a frog, but I'm betting no fishes normally live in a bogs. And what makes it a bog, not a swamp or any other type of mire, is that it's formed basically by the moss, which you see down there, and it acts like a sponge. So all the rainwater and all the peat which is falling down there is just absorbing all the rainwater. And also the bogs, they get all their water from the precipitation water, so from the water that's falling from the sky. Whether swamps, I think they have like a little bit different structure. So that light green surface, I would say that is probably the most dangerous one, because as soon as you step over there, you would probably start sinking by a lot. And you know how it goes in a swamp, the more you move,
the more you get stuck.
Exactly. And it looks so innocent from over here, so if maybe you wouldn't have like this path, you would say, oh, I'm not gonna walk on this tall grass, I'd rather walk there. And that's where you fall in. Let me show you what actually happens when you step on this boggy surface. You immediately begin to press out some water. And this was actually a tactics used in Baltic countries as a defense. I don't think that there are many other natural defense possibilities here besides forests, but the people back then, they tricked in the scumbag Russian and the Nazi troops into these forests and bogs, where they couldn't, of course, advance with their tanks and heavy artillery, or basically any heavy machinery. So guess which fool tried to crawl into the bog and go for a swim? Naruto is his name. Look at that tiny fucker. He's all wet.
And he tries again.
So he went in here. You can see it from a distance. And then he was struggling to come out, so you really don't need to be heavy. You really don't need to be heavy to get stuck in here really fast. You tiny fucking fool.
Oh, in our video.
Naruto!
Hey.
So it's time for Sabine to reveal what she was carrying in that purple bag. All along.
All along.
It was Mäduskuulka.
It was a nice cake.
Or basically a honey cake.
A honey cake.
Yum yum yum.
Yum yum yum.
So good. To finish the trail, and I think we misread that this trail is also the beaver trail. It appears to be a separate one, so right now we're gonna do our best to find it and take that trail as well. If I'm correct, that's the trail that we have to take, and we drove about 8 minutes here, just straight on the same road that we arrived on the previous trail. I'm really hopeful to see some beavers today. So far we didn't see any beavers, but then it came to my mind that beavers might be also nocturnal animals, meaning that they appear or they are active mostly during the night. Instead, we have got bitten by mosquitoes.
Eaten by mosquitoes.
Eaten by mosquitoes. Because we did see few signs that like this forest gets, like at least few years ago, it was like submerged up until this point at least. So like everything, you know, standing here till my knee, which is like almost a meter from the ground, would get submerged. And I'm assuming that happens more oftenly, but maybe not so deep. Thus this forest is like a perfect habitat for all those pesky mosquitoes. We came to this spot on the river. I think it's a river most likely. And there in the distance you can see like these logs. And also there on the other side, that been felled by beavers. But it's gonna be quite unlikely for us to stay here for a few minutes and then sight this wood chewing, grizzling animal, right?
Yeah, because they come out only in the night.
Most likely. Well, but definitely it's like a nice forest to be visiting. Just mind to wear your long pants and perhaps also shirts with sleeves. You will prevent yourself from being annoyed by mosquitoes. Alright, so Sabine has spotted that small beach right there. So maybe they are more active on the other side. Thus, Sabine, what do you think about this whole experience?
It was nice, even though we didn't see any beavers.
Yeah, I think like it's a little bit of overstatement to say that this is like one of the best like view spots in Northern Europe, or even the biggest population.
Yeah, one of the best spots to see. Yeah.
Maybe in Estonia, but I don't think that's like that applies to all of Europe.
Or maybe you need to come in the evening.
Yeah, like I said, like if you ever come here, do your own research, and like you saw, there were like quite a lot of viewing spots.
Yes.
And maybe you get more lucky than we did. And if not, this trail only takes like, I think half an hour maybe if you walk non-stop, but with all the stops it took us maybe an hour, because it's 2 kilometers long.
Yeah.
And you're like in Soomaa National Park, and you have to see multiple trails, you can't do just one.
Yes, exactly, and it's not so far away from each other, huh?
Yeah. Alright, enough of this country ass motherfucker, and now we're gonna go to Parnu.
To the city.
The city, I hope.
We shall see.
Yeah, maybe a small town, we will see. So see you guys there. So that was a quick ride of about 40 minutes to Parnu. And we are already on this, I guess, the most famous street, the Rutli Street. And we read that one of the most famous buildings is the Punani Tower, or the Punani Torn, which translates to Red Tower. And that's where we are going to go right now, on this little trendy shopping street. Just maybe check out some shops. Don't really need to buy anything, but I think it's just worthy to explore here. Ladies and gents, we have arrived in our last object that we want to see today, and those are the red cliffs of the river Salacgriva. Or the Red Cliff of Salacgriva is actually one of the most picturesque objects that you can see in Latvia and in this region especially. What probably captivates most of the people are the 10-meter high cliffs, and they stretch around for 400 meters down the river. Along this river you would find more cliffs like this, but they would be a little bit less impressive, even though equally beautiful. And the name of those two other cliffs is Salacgriva and Zvigrklins. Let me put the pictures on the screen so you can see that they actually are equally beautiful, but not as impressive of course as these ones, because they are 10 meters tall. Just in case, if you would actually take a boat ride, it's very possible to do on this river of course, along these cliffs you would see some shallow and less shallow, bigger and smaller caves and even grottos. You can actually come here and have a really good time. I mean, this area is free. There are plenty of places where you can rest. There are fixed places where you can make a fireplace and nobody would even punish you for that, which is, I think, in my opinion and experience, a rare occasion in Europe, because everywhere it's prohibited to do that. Here the government, or actually the country, has already taken care about it, so you don't need to be worried whether you can make a fireplace or not. So let's take a walk down that way, because there is like this horn where the river flows around, and I saw the pictures. It looks awesome, and I think we all should take a look ourselves closer. While we are pushing on through this small jungle to get to the horn, we can see from here the fish. I mean, the water is like completely different color than here, or in the previous place. It's like kind of like a little bluish, but also super clear. Noise. Why are we going back?
Because of this crazy jungle. We are all the day with mosquitoes, ticks, I don't know. I don't want to risk, huh? And there's no more trail.
There is no more trail.
No, we go around, huh?
With a car.
With a car. Better road.
Yes, so we will just go back to our parking and get a car, and I think it's gonna be like 5 minutes drive on a gravel road of course, so be prepared. So guys, I have a little bit bad news. The place where the horn is located is owned by somebody. I mean, there is a private property, so we cannot access that exact spot. So we drove the car a little bit to see if there is another path down, but there is not, because all of this land is somebody's land. So I can only appreciate the same river flowing here without any red cliffs, and we are maybe only 500 meters further away. But nonetheless, I'm going to try to fly the drone that way and see if I can get a glimpse in this manner. But there is also bad news that the drone batteries are empty as well. So let's try it. Let's see how much battery life I can squeeze out, how long can I fly, and then in any case that would be the end of the video. I would recommend everybody coming here, trying their own luck, and maybe renting a boat. I heard from some people which were chilling there in a camping that this river is very easy to sail around, especially if you know what you're doing, but even for amateurs like me. And you can see from here it's just flowing rather peacefully. So thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in the next adventure.